The word arbitrator means a third party or person who steps in to smooth over or settle a disagreement. The boss and the workers hired an arbitrator to settle their dispute over wages. There is no need to bring in an arbitrator since we can resolve our differences without someone else getting involved. Dina grew tired of playing the role of arbitrator every time her husband got into an argument with the neighbor. Arbitrator, someone who helps settle an argument. The word attest means to declare or show that something is true. At the trial, the chief witness attested to the defendant's guilt. I can attest to the fact that Jake has never been late for work in his life. That shirt attests to your terrible taste in clothes. Attest, to declare something is true. The word abstain means to hold back from something, avoid, or quit. I had never abstained from eating meat, but I decided to be a vegetarian for a while to see what it was like. To help improve his physical fitness, Bill decided to abstain from anything unhealthy, such as drinking alcohol or smoking cigarettes. 3 members of the city council abstained from voting because they were friends with the people who were involved in the dispute. Abstain, to hold back from something. The word accentuate means to make something more important or to highlight. The doctor was always very direct with his patients and accentuated his advice as much as he needed to get the message across. Sometimes he felt as though he was constantly repeating himself, but he knew that unless he underscored the idea that someone needed to lose weight or quit smoking, he'd feel terrible if something happened to them. If they ignored his advice, there was nothing he could do. But at least he knew that he'd accentuated the message as much as possible. Another example is, my mother said that I shouldn't dwell on the bad things in life, but should accentuate the positive to improve my mood. Accentuate, emphasize, draw attention to. The word agglomeration means a cluster of something, mass of varied parts. The band was an agglomeration of different kinds of musicians. The cars in the parking lot were an agglomeration of newer and older, smaller and larger vehicles. The agglomeration of people in the city streets is really interesting to me. Agglomeration, cluster of something, mass of varied parts.
Adverse. The word adverse means bad, unfavorable, or against someone or something. Ordinarily, golf is a game best played in nice sunny weather, but if you don't mind playing in adverse weather, you could try playing in the rain once in a while. Some people shrink away from difficult challenges, while other folks don't mind adverse situations and even find themselves doing better when faced with them. Golfing in the rain, though, could be dangerous if there's lightning going on. It's one thing to enjoy playing in adverse conditions, but it's quite another to risk getting zapped by a lightning bolt. Adverse. Unfavorable, harmful, going against. Augury. The word augury means a foretelling of the future, a prediction, or the ability to tell the future. The wizard used all sorts of auguries to try and predict the future. He watched the flight patterns of birds, gazed at the stars, and examined tea leaves, all in an effort to learn what tomorrow held. The villagers understood that he had a terrible record for successful prophecies, so they didn't take his augury very seriously, but they enjoyed watching his tricks. Augury, a prediction, fortune-telling.
The word acerbity means bitterness, roughness, or sharpness. The acerbity of my wife's temper is sometimes frightening. Frank has a great sense of humor, but he is sharp-tongued, and his acerbity sometimes angers people. The mayor was a gentle person in public, but he had a reputation for acerbity behind closed doors. Acerbity, bitterness, roughness.
Ape. The word ape means to copy or mimic the actions of someone. The mime thought it was funny to stand behind strangers and ape their movements, as if imitating people was actually amusing to others. Some people might get a chuckle out of that sort of thing, but most people find it annoying, especially when they're the ones being aped. It reminds them of little kids who get on their older brothers or sisters' nerves by imitating everything they do. In its noun form, ape is actually a category of animals that includes gorilla, chimpanzee, etc. These animals act like humans in general, giving rise to this verb form. Ape, to copy the actions of someone.
Ameliorate. The word ameliorate means to make more tolerable or to make better. Robert didn't have proper tools to completely fix the water loss problem, so he tried to ameliorate the situation temporarily by putting bandages on the holes. Sir Edmund Hillary, after becoming the first person to summit Mount Everest, devoted his life to ameliorating the conditions of poor people living near the mountain. I tried to ameliorate the swelling in my sister's ankle by giving her an ice pack to hold on her skin. Ameliorate. To improve, to make more bearable.
The word abduction refers to a kidnapping, taking away or carrying someone off against his or her will. Stories about alien abductions are hard to believe, but you will occasionally find someone who claims to have been captured by creatures from another planet. It's not clear why people tell these kinds of stories, but I guess some people just don't have much adventure, and they want to believe that they've been snatched from their lives and taken somewhere that few other people will ever get to see. Sometimes they claim the experience of abduction was painful and traumatic, but other people insist that their abductions were actually enjoyable and interesting. Whatever the story, these people usually sound nuts. Abduction, taking someone away by force. The word aegis means sponsorship, leadership, or protection. In Greek mythology, aegis referred to a shield emblematic of majesty that was associated with Zeus and Athena. Under the aegis of the militia reformers, the soldier decided to go to war against the king. Just the thought of going to war made him shake in his boots, and the aegis he was wearing to shield his body did not give him much strength. Another example could be, the play is being produced under the aegis of the College Drama Club. Under the aegis of the new drama professor, the department has grown from 3 teachers to 7. Aegis. Sponsorship.
Aloft. The word aloft means held up, in the air, flying, or in a high place. Kites appear to float easily on the wind, but they're actually aloft in the sky only with careful movements by the person holding the kite strings. On their first try with the new kite, Carl and David were able to keep it aloft for almost half an hour. It danced about in the air, its tail whipping in the breeze, but as the saying goes, what goes up must come down. When the wind died down, the kids could no longer keep their kite aloft, and it plunged down into the lake. After that, they'd need to wait until it dried out before sending it aloft once again. Aloft, in the air, high up.
Amass. The word amass means to collect for oneself or to accumulate. The people at the party looked at Harry in amazement as he kept amassing food on his tray. Karen amassed a large credit card debt and ended up declaring bankruptcy. The police had amassed credible evidence to arrest the man. Amass, to collect for oneself, to gather.